Yes, now bless now people. Don't forget to rest now. There's ROCKSTEADY, King of the Pit TV signing in. I had a recommendation on the Patreon from the metal connoisseur, or the metalcore connoisseur, actually, to niche that down a little bit. My man Joel, he says, bruh, you gotta check out Remembering Never. This record in particular, She Looks So Good in Red, referenced the fella called Mean Steve. Apologies if I've got his name wrong, but said unfortunately he's passed as of recent. This is a character I wasn't familiar with, so I can't speak too much on that issue, but I did catch him do a little bit of performing in a live session like middle way through this listen through, so I got a little bit of the experience. People did like this band a lot. It was in 2004, whereas this record, from what I'm aware, was 2003 it was put out, so not long after they performed at Hellfest. 11 tunes on this record, no filler. Even with the first one being 35 seconds, I expected an introduction. It was a track all in itself. Very noisy band. But most metalcore acts around this period were what I would consider noisy. And when I say noisy, I mean quite erratic, quite spazzy, a lot of back and forth between clean and overtly distorted, harsh vocals, definitely harsh vocals, and somewhat atonal singing. You know, we've not got Ed Sheeran on the microphone here. But it was half decent. Production-wise, was fascinating. It wasn't great production, but it was production with character. You know, if you had a copy of this on CD, which I'm sure the people who were around this time who liked this band might have, you know, this was the sign of the times. Get your little jewel case CD. I mean, this album artwork is like CD era 101 to me. Not a bad production for that, you know what I mean? I don't know how your car speakers would handle like the low end of this, because that kick drum was just pounding straight through the mix. Whoa, I heard more kick drum than all else on this record, but I wouldn't have had it any other way, really. I think it was a good block to develop on, and then, you know, get a different producer essentially from here on. I doubt they stuck with this producer if they'd had a record after this, or this degree of sound engineering. They probably pushed it to a new space. But it was good overall, you know. I think the drummer probably was my favourite part of it, because I didn't clock on to how... I think due to the production I was speaking of, a lot of the high end, if not, you know, the top and the middle end as well, of the drum kit was just like reeled all the way to the back. It was just like the kick and the toms in particular that really broke through. And you could pay attention and hear the snare, but as far as like cymbals are concerned, you know, they weren't really breaking through much. But when so I didn't really pay an incredible amount of attention to the drums at the start. I was more or less paying attention to the vocal line and the guitars, the riffage and so forth. But then, like, maybe about track 5, track 6, it caught on to me. I thought, you know what, the drummer's my favourite part of this band. I thought the drummer was really good once I started to delve into and pay attention to the way it was played and the organic value of what I was hearing. I liked it a lot. Really liked the clean sections. The clean sections were proper cool, in particular the guitars of the clean sections. Vocal-wise, not too bad. It was what it was. It's definitely incredibly metalcore, 2000s metalcore, with the poeticism of the song titles and the album title and even the name of the band. It's so bizarre. I was part of like the Scene Kid thing, part of the Hexy Kid thing, the MySpace brutal stuff and all this and that. So I get it to a degree, but I was a lot younger. These older men who were like making bands and stuff and doing stuff like this, I wonder what influenced them to create music such as this. I know it was like a part of a tribal thing, just like, but it's quite bizarre how you'd see these like hardcore dudes creating music with like clean singing and stuff. I like it, don't get me wrong. I don't cast judgment on it, but generally speaking, there's a lot of you know, insecure and frail masculine egos in heavy music, where they feel like embarrassed to do stuff like this, but these lot just weren't. They were completely fine in doing it, and it's something I haven't fully grasped an understanding of. But I like the clean sections. I like the heavy sections. There's a couple of neat breakdowns in here, and I'm just gonna leave that one there. I'll give some respect to Stevie. I'm not gonna rate this record out of respect. You know, I think definitely won't get a bad rating from me. But hey, I'm signing out on that one. Peace, one, love, people. Goodbye.